Owned a pair of these for a while. I'm sure this has happened. You're about to go to bed and the blinds break. And who wants to spend another $300 on a new set of blinds or wait for the handyman to come out and fix this and charge you half of that? I'm going to show you today how to fix these when they break. It's not that hard, and what I'm going to show you is a lot easier than what the company shows you in their instruction manual that comes with replacement parts. So stick around. I'll show you how to do this for under about 20 bucks. Here, this is Wally Makes Stuff. I'm Wally. I make stuff. I also fix things. So if you're new to the channel, stick around and subscribe for more. All right, so before you take these out, you need to accordion them back up. And it's really not that hard. You don't even need a tool. You're gonna push your thumbs sort of close to the top, push in and down like that. You might need two people, but it's a big one especially. There you go. That's how you take it out right there. First step, we're gonna use just a small, like a jeweler's screwdriver, and get these ends popped out. Before we pull that out, other side, I need to unlock this. You can see there's this little tab there that needs to flip around. So we can just use our screwdriver and get that to where it's 180 degrees from where you saw it, and then push it out. There we go. And now we can unlock our string. All right, we're gonna clip this. All right, we'll get to that in a second. And we have to pull the bottom off as well. For this one, some sort of thin blade, like this is a painter's tool. You're just gonna wedge it in there. You could use a screwdriver, but they tend to be a little blunt. So that thinner edge helps you get that off pretty good. Okay, so now we can just slide this off. Make sure you have enough runway on your side. That's the top. Okay, got that one separated with the painter's tool. Just gonna wiggle it out. We can stick it in here and go like so if it's a little stiff. There we go. Now we can slide this off. All right. You can see this is the one that broke right there. It's all the way over here. Just slide that out. And we'll save this little washer right there. There's gonna be one for each side. We basically want to reverse what these are doing. This is the one that I cut earlier. And that slides out. We're gonna basically rethread it. And we need to make sure we get these to be the right length. So I'll show you how to do that. So this is the 0.9 millimeter repair thread from fixmyblinds.com. I'm not sponsored by them, it's just who I used. The next question is, how long do we need to make this, right? So the first, and I always cut them too long on purpose at first. The first one we're gonna do needs to be long enough to go all the way through here when it's fully opened, and come all the way out and come down, so that when it's fully extended, it's not being stuck. The blinds don't need more rope than what's there. So you want to get a fairly wide-eyed sewing needle. Sometimes just the extra tool help does the trick. All right, so just get a little bit of that through, and then we're gonna thread it from the top through. If you feel like you got to push it, you miss the hole. So like so, just got to get it through and then slide that off. And don't delay, get the washer back on there before you bump this thing and it all comes apart on you. Okay, so this washer, high technology here, guys, is really just to stop it from going back in. And I like to do a square knot, so I'm gonna go backwards this way and then go forward this way, and then I'll do it one more time as a keeper. It doesn't need anything fancy, but I'm gonna leave a little tail on there just in case. Justin's a good friend of mine, just in case. Good guy, saved me many times. All right, so without further ado, let's cut the length of this correctly, right? So what we want to do technically, let's just measure, you know, you could open these all the way up, but we're gonna go and measure the space inside the window frame, and then we're just gonna add the length there to that. So let's go. So this is a window we're fitting in. So 59 inches tall, we'll just add that to the width of the blind, and then it'll be more than enough. 59 plus 47. 9 plus 47 is 106. This doesn't go that long, but I wanted to use a soft tape, just easier. So I'm gonna go 47 right there, and then 59 from there. Right there is where we're gonna cut that one. And we got one more to make. I spared you guys the suspense of me fumbling around with the needle eyelet. This one didn't fight me as bad, fortunately. Come on, baby. I can feel it stabbing the blind. Why isn't it lining up? Let's go. Okay, got it. Let's get that washer on there before it makes me do this all over again. Been down that road before. Lost the other washer, but fortunately I have a little mini Ace hardware living on the wall of my garage from all the years of keeping hardware. And we're just gonna tie that. All right, let's measure it. We're gonna go 70 inches on this one because it's 59 plus an extra 11 inches of leeway. We'll do the final trimming once we get it inside. All right, we're gonna use our high-tech masking tape and tape that to the bottom, just so it doesn't, when I slide that base on, we don't want it pulling it out and misplacing it, right? Okay. Get our end caps on and call the bottom done. Okay. Getting there. Oops, almost did made a knot in there. Okay. Now I need to get our cable guides in, and we want this to be pointing into the blind. So we're gonna, ooh, this one's getting a little old. Ooh, and this one's all worn out. That's probably what cut the string, all that friction. Hopefully I have some extras. Well, I went to my spare parts collection and I found only one of these. So that concludes today's session. Stick around. I'll have these ordered in no time and we'll have the rest of this put together in a couple seconds on your end. Few days for me. Okay, so the parts came in. I'm just gonna thread that here, all the way down to the blind, and get that little dimple right in there, like so, okay? We're gonna do that to the front as well. All right, simple as pie, right? So we're gonna thread this on in that orientation right there. Make sure this one comes into the guide there so it doesn't interfere with that. And like so. So I replaced this cable guide at the same time. Just push that in that orientation right there. It doesn't hurt. This is like $1. It will prevent having to take this whole thing apart later, hopefully, to waste all that time on a $1 part. So we're just gonna get those through there, okay? I'm just gonna push that in like so, okay? Now this is where I found a little hack. You can see there's the original. I'm gonna replace this one too. These are 15 bucks, but again, I don't wanna deal with this if I don't have to, and these get sliced up and that causes fraying over time. if you look at most instructions online, they're gonna tell you to try to thread that cable through there just like that. That's the old one. I cut it off on both ends so you could see. You don't have to do that. What's way easier is you just go like this, pull it apart, okay? And then we're just gonna feed these two cables right through here on this side of the steel cable gear, okay? Steady hands. Here we go. Orient this where the top pin is on top, and like so, okay? Now, the next thing we need to do, come over this way. You can see the orientation of this little guy. We're gonna line that up here with where it lines up in there, see? We also need to pull these through the entrance to the blind right here, right? Can't forget that. Minor details. Okay. Orient the little shape there like that, and then just push some friction on there. Make sure you hold on to your cables so they don't roll back with it. Okay, there we go. There's our strings, okay? Now, fun stuff. We get to connect the stopper and the bottom cord. So I pulled the blinds with the cord tight and made it even. We're just gonna tape it in that position, and that's gonna make a parallel mechanism, right? So that way when we make sure that these are taut, right? Those are all the slacks taken out. Now we can come down here, cut them equal. So now we have a reference point. I don't have to worry about if they move. I just know where they come together. We're gonna put them on this guy. We're gonna feed them through the small end there. Okay. And then on this end, and I have a few extra inches, which I'm okay with. And if it's too much, I can always redo this when I get inside. But I'm gonna do a couple knots right there. And that will keep it from pulling back through. Let's do that and see what happens. Okay, is that enough? Yep, not coming through. And we can snip that. I'm gonna do one more just for safekeeping. There, okay. So we can snip this so it's not an eyesore. Okay, boom. Now, let's give this blinds a little TLC so it all matches. We had an old green cord on there, but since we have gray on top, I'm gonna match them. So we're just, again, we're gonna tie a knot here a couple times, and that's gonna be our keeper. Well, actually, I don't know why I'm measuring it already because I still have to get it through here. So let's just make sure we have a little extra. Okay, we'll just do that same thing again. Do one more. All right, let's snip that. You know, okay, here we go. Boom, shakalaka, we have blinds. Woo! Let's go get them installed. Go ahead. All right, I'm gonna show you guys how to get these in. It's the opposite of taking them out. You just get them up underneath the clip, push in. There you go, and then make sure they're centered. All right, looks pretty even to me. I wonder why these things break. It's mostly from pulling too hard. When you pull hard, it creates friction. Friction melts the plastic. Plastic tears, creates sharp edges, and then slices the cable. So don't pull them hard, don't let them down hard. Nice and slow, and you probably will never have to replace those. All right, I hope you guys thought that was helpful, and if you stuck around this long, it means you like DIY stuff, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. This rack of tools up here was what I used to run my business for about 10 years in the construction industry, and now I have a YouTube channel where I share how to do all the things that I love, including fixing things that break. So please hit that like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.